Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome on back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. We have big fight energy this week. UFC 319 coming up this week, and for the second week in the row, I am rocking the baby blues, the Die Hard stimulus check. That's right, we earned another win this past week for the first time. In 2025, we've got a 2-event win streak going on. Can you believe it? Thank you, Jesus. And you know what? I actually shouldn't be thanking Jesus as much as I should be thanking Steve Erceg. I kept my card tight last week, and I built one of the worst parlays any gambler of all time has ever crafted. Okay, I made just the most god-awful parlay you've ever seen, and it still should have probably come through for me, but regardless, it didn't. And I just sat there and I'm thinking, I can't bring myself to go back on this show. There's no way I can show my face on a live stream after coming back negative. And I just thought, I got to dig deep. I can't take no for an answer. I can't possibly put another L up on that resume, and I went for it, baby. So when I saw after round one that Steve Erceg was sitting at a juicy little minus 130 live, we jumped in, and we jumped in good, but I was still about a half unit short on the night. So what we did is we said one final prayer, and we hit the 4-5 or decision prop over on FanDuel for Fluffy, and I about had a heart attack, you guys. I was like, I'm going for the win. I gotta bet something in the main event here to get a dub on this week. And he almost had Dolidze out of there in round 2. I was like, I'm dead. Like I chased, I got it done with Erceg, but we're still going to go negative because Fluffy is going to just absolutely wreck Dolidze shit, and we are not going to make it to round 4. Thank you, Roman Dolidze, for being a tough bastard, and thank you, Herb Dean, for being just a little bit patient for me in the main event. We got it done, so we've got another half-unit win. I don't care how small it is. That's 2 weeks worth of profit, and I'm riding high going into UFC 319. It is DDP fight week, and I have a very, very exciting and special announcement for all of you. So welcome on into the show, and I would like to say I am extremely proud to announce that the show has a new sponsor. That is right. We are now officially brought to you by CloudBet. CloudBet is sponsoring the Die Hard MMA podcast. They are also the official sponsors of the PFL and Karate Combat. So you're going to see us all over the place. They are the #1 crypto casino and sports book, and it is just a beautiful sight to see. I love the layout. You can see the lines all moving here in real time. And if it's your first time checking out CloudBet, guys, roll on up here to the top right corner. And if you're just a moron American like me, you can flip this little tab down to change that to American. And now all the odds are in America. And you can read these things with your machine gun strapped over your shoulders. Like, now we know what we're betting on here with these numbers over on CloudBet. So huge, massive shout out to CloudBet for sponsoring the show. Make sure you guys get signed up. Use promo code DieHardMMA. When you sign up, they are rolling out the red carpet for us, and I'll have a little bit more to tell you about that later on in the show. But shout out CloudBet. They're our new sponsor. Everybody click the link in the description. Everybody go get signed up for me. That's the best way you can support me. And I have an incredible show for you here today, you guys. I've got an awesome guest, and I can't wait to break it all down. None other than Fight Ready's Santino DeFranco coming to us tonight. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing all right. Can't argue. I just we filmed our podcast a little while ago, and now I'm just chilling. Just chilling.
Love it. Double duty on the podcasting. That's good news. Can't wait to hear that one as well. Brandon's always fun on the microphone. But how'd you guys do last week? Last week was a pretty wild event. The last couple events in a row have all been pretty insane. So
Yeah, so I actually didn't even do the podcast last week. I didn't do anything. I was in the middle of selling a business, so I closed on that last week.
nice.
So Brandon did that one by himself. He recorded with Narco Cop, and then on the bets, actually, he swept the card. So on our Patreon and in Discord, of course, we give the bets on the winners. Brandon went whatever it was, 12 for 12, literally all of them.
Beautiful.
Bets. He threw 4 or 5 bets down. The only thing that he didn't get is he had Fluffy. Gosh, I forget what he had. He had Fluffy by finish. Oh, he had Fluffy by KO. And ended up submission. But other than that, he got it. Swept BKFC, and he actually threw a plus 7,700 parlay out that hit. So he killed it last week. I didn't do shit. I just hung out, did my thing, tried to get my life in order, and like I said, sold the business. There was a lot of stress, so I got done with that. Now I'm back.
Hey, well, congrats to you selling the business. That is big time. And congrats, shout out Brandon, because he is absolutely the man, especially hitting the 77-1. And frankly, it's a bad beat that he didn't get that KO prop, man. Fluffy had Dolidze in all kinds of trouble on that fight card. So good stuff, man. So I got to tell you, Coach, I told everybody last week, I was like, look, the Sharps, they're all on Feely this week. And I think Square is sharp this week. I'm like, C-Rod is the favorite. Feely's old and busted. And I was alluding to before, I made probably the worst parlay you've ever seen.
I saw it. And it wasn't I don't think that was the best one you've ever put out there.
Oh, my Lord. For everybody catching up that didn't see the post on social media. So first leg was Julius Walker, which you guys know, Juicebox is my boy. But he went out there thinking he was going to walk right through Rafael Sequeira and ran into a little bit of resistance. I mean, I got to say, I'm proud of the guy for finding the angle. He found his path to victory in that fight, abused it, got it done. It was great. So good for him. He's still young. He's learning on the job. But him as a minus 650 in that spot. Terrible leg, awful leg for the parlay. And then the next leg of the parlay was similarly just win, just go get the win, right? Gene Matsumoto. I think Miles Johns won the fight, man. Like I think you can make a very good argument for 29-28 Miles Johns. So 2 legs, both of them back-to-back checked, and my third leg was our boy C-Rod. And one of those judges tried. Coach, I am never on the right side of Sal D'Amato, but somebody at that desk tried to get my parlay home, and I appreciate it. But Andre Feely was very clearly the winner there. Square was not sharp. Square was very square.
The issue with that fight with C-Rod, and I love C-Rod, he's trained with us. Like he's, I look at him, his family is, he's a tweener, and 35 is hard for him to make. But he's just not big enough for 45. And Feely's a really, really big 45er. He's just a big, long, gangly guy. And then the other side of that is he doesn't gas either. So he has a good cardio, good gas tank. Usually C-Rod's there to outlast a lot of these guys when they're going full send round 1, and he comes on round 2 and 3. Just stylistically, that was a hard fight for him.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say it's not a winnable fight, but just stylistically, because he could have won that fight. Just a couple little adjustments here and there, and
he was landing some good shots.
Yeah, but Feely's just so big and long, and style-wise, that was definitely one of the harder fights for him that he's going to encounter.
No, for sure. I really hope he manages to get back down to 135, because I think that's where his future is. I mean, he could be a tweener and alternate wins and losses and cash a bunch of checks. And if that's what he's looking for, go for it. But like, I think he could be something at 135 if he could get down there. So
yeah, I think you're right. I've told him that. I said, look, man, at 135, you could be a top 10 fighter, fight for a title. At 145, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed he can get it together, man. But glad to hear we're both looking good. I mean, you may be coming off the couch, but you and Brandon coming off of a huge win. I'm coming off a little squeaker, but I will take it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We've got over 200 people watching live, getting us started already. And Dixon Sider shouting out the Tracy Cortez merch that you're rocking there on the t-shirt. Gotta love it.
Yeah, she gave me this in a black one during her last fight week. She gave, me and the coaches, and it's actually probably the night. I don't ever wear fight shirts. I don't wear anything MMA. And today I saw this and was like, I'm gonna rock Tracy today. But it's actually probably the nicest shirt I've ever like worn in terms of like a fighter shirt. So the other thing, you guys in the chat, it looks like I'm looking down, I'm looking at you on my screen. My podcast room is set up for us to be on the chairs and separate. So now that I've got it turned, I had to actually turn my camera and sit at the desk. So I just don't have it set up. So my camera's actually up there. I don't have a webcam. I have like a DSLR is what we film on. And so now I'm looking at you, but now I'm actually looking at you. So you guys, so if it looks like I'm not looking at you, I actually am, but you're there, not
I got you
there. So sorry, guys.
I have the same exact problem. I've only got about 2 inches here of difference, but it does the same thing where I'm constantly down here like this.
Yeah, like it wasn't a great setup, and I didn't have a lot of time because Brandon, we filmed our podcast, and then Brandon did a contender podcast with Narco at my house though. So he did it here. So then I had to wait for him to get out, and then I had some other, business stuff to do, and then I'm trying to set up, and I'm like, shit, like it could be better.
It's all good. Nobody's going to complain. We're good. We're good. We appreciate you being here. Everybody do me a favor and hit that like button. If you don't know who Santino is and you're living under a rock, definitely make sure you're giving him a follow on social media. Check him and Brandon out, their show out, their podcast links, as well as the Patreon. And let's just dig right on into this thing, man.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, let's we mentioned a little bit, UFC's going to Paramount and they're doing away with the UFC model. Or,
Thank you.
UFC, the pay-per-view model.
Yeah, good shout. I meant to talk about that.
I like that. I feel like because Paramount is affiliated with CBS, they're going to the multicast some on Paramount as well as CBS. But I mean, look at the Super Bowl, look at the World Series, look at the NBA Finals. Like, you're not paying $80 to watch that. You turn the TV on and you watch it. And I think with the UFC that is now, there was always 4 major leagues. There's NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL, right? And I think we just brought a 5th in. I think maybe not immediately, but I think in the next year, as this contract kind of develops, I think we're really dealing with a 5-sport America. And the money is there. Hopefully I think they announced it's 30 shows and then 13 numbered events, like 30 fight nights, 13 numbered events. I hope that means they're doing away with the Apex, because it's the worst place in the world for these guys to be fighting. I
think they're expanding the Apex.
Well, they are. So what they're doing is they're actually putting 1,500 seats. So they're actually going to do that. But one of the things that we're kind of speculating about was one that it will be for the contenders, so they'll actually sell tickets for that. But actually, because of the WWE relationship, that they want to run smaller wrestling shows there as well. So I don't know if they do the Apex. I hope they flood it with people. It just is. It's a soulless place for people to fight their hearts out in front of 4 people. Even if you do have tickets to it, for the most part, you can only stay for your one fight and then you have to leave. So when families like come in to watch somebody at the Apex, they have to show up a certain time. They have a window, their fight leaves, they have to go, and then those seats are reused from the next person and the next person. It's a horrible spot to be showcasing this level of talent in front of 12 people in a echo chamber.
I thought about that a couple weeks ago with like the Brenner and Ruziboev fights and like the Kevin Vallejos fight. Dude, that like,
come on,
man, the punches are echoing in there. There's just no bodies. Like, we're all going nuts on the couch, but you should have an arena on their feet when fights like that happen.
Yeah.
I love the Paramount deal though. I mean, thank God we can all get away from ESPN Plus. I mean, ESPN, don't hate me. Like you can sponsor the show too. But no, seriously, ESPN Plus was just garbage. I can't tell you how many times I missed the first fight of a pay-per-view because it would just be clocking when you try to purchase it. If you're
really? See, I never had. I've heard people complain. I never had any issues with ESPN or ESPN Plus or anything. Like I actually really liked it because I would be at my son's football game, a wrestling match or something, and be able to like pull up the fights. I never had issues with it. I mean, I never had issues.
You're one of the few. I mean, it's not so bad on like a fight night, but anytime it was a pay-per-view with any kind of hype behind it, it's like they got backlogged. Too many people trying to access it or something.
Really?
It froze up all the time on the pay-per-views.
You need to up your cable, your internet.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I mean, usually when I was doing that kind of a thing, I was accessing it on my phone or something. So
okay.
Yeah, I still got caught by it sometimes. Who knows? But I think it's good, man. I was telling people I like it because I think we will see fewer super cards. So like, yeah, we won't get a UFC 300 again, but I think UFC 300 left a void. There was like 2-3 months after UFC 300 where it's like you could hardly get a half decent co-main event because they were saving everybody for the big event, or they had just fought in the big event. So like I like.
Well, let's look at
like
this card, man. Cards. I mean, you've got 2 good fights on this card, and then which are the main and co-main event, and then the rest of it is like, who cares? Like, I mean, this is not a superstar studded event. I think this is probably one of the weaker pay-per-views I've seen in a while.
Yeah. The names are all over the hill, aging, almost retirement level type fighters. There's very few prospects.
Yeah.
This one's tough, and that's where I like it if they don't load every single relevant star on one card. I hope that they do with Paramount, where it's a little bit more balanced moving forward.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Everybody let us know what you guys think about the Paramount thing. Go ahead, get your subscriptions over there, right? I wish I had a promo code for you, but I don't. So let's dig into these cards, man. We got some fun fights to talk about. Now, this first one, you and I were chatting just a little bit behind the scenes on this one. Alibi Idiris is taking on Joseph Morales. Now, this is a Ultimate Fighter finals type of fight. So we don't have lines yet to talk about, and we're not sure what's going on with it because it's not listed everywhere. So like maybe it's happening, maybe it's not. I am suspecting that maybe they're just trying not to spoil the show. So sorry if you guys are keeping up with Tough. Maybe the episode hasn't aired that confirms these two are fighting each other, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's the fight that is locked up for these two guys. I did a little bit of work trying to go back and find them. Idiris is 10-0. He was on Team DC here on this most recent Ultimate Fighter show. He's from Kazakhstan, so automatically, in my book, he's just put him up a couple of notches. These Kazakhstan prospects are really fun. He's long, he's fast, he's got a really smooth kicking game. He flashes that knee really well, and he's pretty relentless, man. He likes to roll and throw big hooks in the pocket, and he's got these beautiful spinning kicks. I mean, he's got one of these big highlight reel KOs where he hit just a perfectly timed Edson Barboza spinning heel kick from distance, and he can wrestle too. I love this kid. I like everything about him. He looks like he's somebody the UFC is going to be real excited to get behind him. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Joseph Morales is 12-2. He's 30 years old, and also coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. This is going to be his second UFC stint. He made his debut in 2017. He got a performance of the night sub in his first fight, but then he got a little shafted, man. He lost his next 2 fights in a row, but one of those was getting pasted by Davison Figueiredo. So like, you get knocked out by prime Davison Figueiredo, drop a split in your next fight, and UFC is like, snip, snip, see you, buddy. It's like, man, that's rough. Like you could have gone 2-1 and had another contract instead, but they let him go. He's training out of Team Alpha Male. He got some work at Cage Warriors after he got cut by the UFC, which frankly I think is cursed. The Cage Warriors guys just aren't doing too well these days. So I'm not sure if that's a positive or not, but he's got very long, skinny legs, wide stance. He's got really fast blitz attacks, but he's like an all or nothing kind of guy. Like, he's really patient. I mean, almost to a fault. I feel like he can be a little low volume. When he goes, he's fast. When he goes, he throws combos, but when he's not going, he's just kind of sitting there. So I think Morales is going to get outworked by a lot of people, frankly. And at range, I think Alibi's gonna crack him with whatever he wants to hit him with. So I think this will be a fun fight. It should be entertaining to say the least. But man, I am looking for any half decent number on Idiris. I think he's probably going to be a very strong favorite when that number drops. I don't know if you have any thoughts on either of these guys, but I'm going to be all team Idiris on this one.
Okay, I don't. I haven't seen them fight enough. I was looking, like I said, for film, and then I was looking at them like there's no odds, so I didn't realize what this was. And I haven't seen, I haven't seen The Ultimate Fighter in so long. I didn't even know these guys were fighting. We were like, what is this? So no, I don't. I'm gonna, I'll side with you on this.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's one that people are gonna have to do some digging on for sure. Alexis, shout out to you. No, we're not doing any kind of a Dana White Contender Series preview. And I will say, I put a post out on my Twitter page. I should probably put this out on all my other platforms. I don't do the breakdowns for Dana White's Contender Series. Unfortunately, just simply don't have the time to do so. But I always try to point everybody in the right direction. Some of my favorite content creators that do Dana White's Contender Series weekly content, Liam Picks Fights, our guy Dan Levy from Half the Battle, Narco Cop, who I believe has Brandon Olivas on the show tonight.
Yep, he'll be doing it all 10 weeks this season.
There you go. All right. So they got a pair. Yep. They got a perfect pair going for the entire Dana White's Contender Series show then. So yeah, check out Narco Cops for that. Gordo Gambles. And then of course, John Kelly, who is the dawn of Dana White's Contender Series. I don't know if he's coming out of retirement or not to do Dana White's Contender Series. Since he got that underdog contract, he may not be allowed to, but if he's doing content, you need to check out his content. So that is those are the guys you need to look at for the Dana White's Contender Series stuff. If I make a bet, it's usually because I've researched for 10 or 15 minutes right before the show kicks off for the night, and then I'll just post it up real fast for everybody. I do my shows on Monday, so there's just no time to do a full breakdown of the other ones. Anyway, moving right along, Karine Silva taking on Dione Barbosa. This is a real fun women's MMA fight, in my opinion. Karine Silva, 18-5, 31 years old. She's a classic Brazilian WMMA prospect where she looked like complete ass on her regional footage, and I tried to bet against her. She comes to the UFC, and all of a sudden, she's an absolute monster. 4-1. You can't stop her. Nasty finisher. I mean, just elite finisher. 9 wins by sub, 8 wins by KO. She's big, she's strong, she's physical. She does have a bit of a sketchy gas tank, and she does have some questionable striking defense, but, young fighter problems, right? I thought Moroz was going to be able to out-wrestle her, and I really took a big shot and a stance on that one, and Silva just out-womaned her. I mean, way more strong, way more physical. Moroz had nothing for her and just got kind of beat up over the course of that fight. So I kind of feel like I got to pat myself on the back, though. I did go back to the well with Vivi in her last fight, and fellow big, powerful Brazilians might be able to be the kryptonite here for her. She'll have a 1-inch reach advantage over Dione Barbosa, who is 8-3. 33 years old, so just 2 years older. She's coming in on short notice. I guess she was initially supposed to fight JJ Aldrich, but Barbosa will be stepping in. Barbosa is 2-1 off of Dana White's Contender Series, and she similarly is very physical, very well built. I like her gliding movement, the in and out range. Her control is good from there. Good body kicks that she likes to whip out there. She's very measured. She's very patient. She's a BJJ black belt on the mat, so she's very tough to submit. Her back takes are good and quick. She fought Karascate, and she got on her back and had a deep choke sunk in. I was surprised she didn't finish it, quite frankly. That was a moment where I feel like she should have got it done. She does have one big red flag, and that's a KO loss to Josiane Nunez on her regional scene prior making it to the UFC. She just completely exhausted herself trying to grapple in that fight and had nothing left to offer, and finally got cracked with something too big to come back from. We know Nunez has stupid power, but questionable loss, in my opinion. Barbosa will be 1 inch taller. She's only got 42% takedown defense, which is a little scary when you're going against such a prolific finisher in Karine Silva. Man, Coach, I know you're not the biggest WMMA guy out there on the planet. So if all things hold true, like on your show with Brandon, I don't know. Any thoughts for you on this one? Do you even know either of these women?
Just a little. I was actually joking on our show, like, dude, I don't know who these women are. Are you even saying real names? I don't watch film on women's MMA a lot unless I have a reason to. If I like one of the fighters, I will. But my issue is, like, not to be like chauvinistic, I just, most of the fights go to this decision, and I'm just not overly interested too much. And then on a betting, a podcast thing, there's so insane. Like you get minus 800s getting knocked out in 10 seconds. And like, you just can't even like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like, make it make sense. And so I'm like, I'm not even going to try to like put anything out there. And, you know, unless I really have a reason to watch film or if I just like somebody. That said, I don't hate Barbosa in this matchup because, I mean, we know that Silva's gas tank is a little bad. We know that. She'll fade. She's physical. She hits hard. The issue is she'll play off her back and she'll pressure her way into the clinch, and then she will play off her back when she's there. And Barbosa has a judo background, and in men's MMA, you're not headlock throwing somebody or hip tossing somebody as much as you are in women's MMA. In women's MMA, arm bars from the guard work, and so do headlock throws. And in men's MMA, that doesn't work at all. And Barbosa has those. You know, she has the jiu-jitsu, she has some physicality, and you know, we start seeing her get a couple of hip toss throws and get on top, and now all of a sudden you end up stealing some rounds in some moments. So you know, in terms of who wins this, I don't, you know, like I said, I'm not watching film on it, but I feel like that is a area that could be exploited by Barbosa.
Absolutely. And so wise words from the chat. This is actually a rematch from their regional scene. They fought in 2019, and Barbosa did win the first fight. I actually,
really?
Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that fight. I didn't get a chance to watch the first fight between them, but Barbosa win the first time and coming in here as a sizable underdog. Odds brought to you by Cloudbet, everybody. Minus 219. Karine Silva, the favorite. Plus 189. The comeback on Dione Barbosa. I'm kind of with you here, Coach. I think this is a bit of a dog or pass spot. And frankly, I think judo is a cheat code in women's MMA. Even after Ronda Rousey, like, people should be ready for it at this point. But when they get under women's hips, I don't know, the balance, the way the body works or something, they just go flying. Like, if you're good at judo and don't know how to defend it, they can just kind of take you down and get you off whenever they want. They can shuck off takedowns. They can get you against the fence. They can change the position. Like, it's just a bit of a cheat code advantage. And I don't know that Karine Silva is suddenly now going to be capable of finishing women like Barbosa at will. Barbosa seems tough. I worry a little bit about the power, but if she can get out of the first round or so, yeah, I kind of think she takes over. I like a bit of an early dog shot here on Dione Barbosa. Not sold, not dog of the week, not ship it. Don't put all your chips in the middle, but just a lean to the dog here. Quick tangent here for you, Coach. I've got a question here in the chat for you. My guy Dream wants to know, is there a WMMA fighter that you like besides Tracy Cortez, of course?
Yeah, somebody else wrote it in the chat as well. Dixon. I love watching Amanda Lemos. Dixon knows, man. I love her boxing. She's one of my favorites. I actually loved, you know, I really didn't watch a lot of women's MMA. It was just whatever until I remember, first time watching Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I was like, she can fight. Holy shit.
I miss Prime Joanna.
Prime Joanna was amazing. But yeah, Prime Joanna is one of my favorites. You know, and then of course I train quite a few women. You know, I've got, you know, Casey O'Neill, Tracy Cortez, a girl, one of our girls, Gigi, is going to be a 115 powerhouse here soon. She is just a stud of studs of studs. So, you know, I don't hate women's MMA, but just for the podcast. And the other thing too, and this is just kind of a cheap, me being lazy. There's 12 or 13 fights a week on a card. I run multiple businesses. I have a fight team that I run. We do the podcast. I've got a wife and 2 kids. On a time level, if I'm going to skip some fights, I just happen to skip those. Yeah. Somebody put Loma. I love Loma Lukbumi.
That's why I highlighted it. I'm a sucker for Loma Lukbumi.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones. But as a whole, like Karine Silva and Dione or Barbosa, I'm like, this is passable.
I'm I don't have anything right here for me, but Dixon, I am not putting that up on the screen for you. I'm gonna horny bonk you if I had something to hit you with from here. Get out of here with that. All right, let's move it along, everybody. I can't wait to talk to you about this one, Coach, because I've got thoughts, man. Up next, we have Bryan Battle, and he is taking on the infamous Nursulton Ruziboev, as I have coined him here on the show. So I've made absolutely no bones about it on this podcast, Coach. I don't like Nursulton Ruziboev, and he's proven that he's serviceable at the UFC level, right? But I think he's one of the most fighters that we've ever seen as far as like the hype is concerned. He's tall, he's long, he's muscly. I know, I get it. He's strong, but he's got such a padded record. He's fighting a bunch of bums. He's got a hell of a right hand on him. If he lands with that right hand, it could be night and it could be over early for sure. But you watch his regional tape, he's hitting Kimuras from guard. And now okay. And I tell everybody every time we do this show that, okay, I'm a BJJ blue belt. It's been years. I'm not even in blue belt shape at this point, so I couldn't roll with anybody. But the Kimura from guard and the arm triangle from guard were actually two of my favorite submissions. When I got promoted to blue belt and I started rolling more often with purples and browns, that shit doesn't work. Like you can only hit white belts who don't know what they're doing with that kind of attack. So this guy has got 20 sub wins on his record with these bums who shoot desperation double legs on him, and he doesn't fish for chokes. It's not guillotines. It's not anacondas. He grabs Kimuras, and then he sweeps them, gets on top, and snaps their shoulders in half. That's not going to work at the UFC level, and we've seen that's not going to work at the UFC level. Buckley went out there and gave this guy a tour of the octagon, if I can quote my guy Dan Levy. I just don't think his skill set is going to work at the UFC level, and at 31 years old, I'm not expecting him to make the kind of improvements he would need to be a legitimate threat in this weight class. So you give him bums. You give him guys that he can crack early. You give him Eric McConaughey, who doesn't have a great chin. He's going to beat those guys. But like even Dustin Stolfus had him in trouble early. Like it was a bit of a clash of heads, but he had him in submission trouble in round one. They kind of were banging it out for 15 minutes. Dustin was able to out wrestle him and get on top of him. That's the game plan. Bryan Battle, 12-2, 30 years old. We've seen improvements from him every single time he steps into the cage. I will be completely honest with you. I think he should be on a 5-fight win streak. The Ange Loosa no contest was shenanigans. He was dominating that fight. Loosa was on the ropes. It absolutely should have been a win. And maybe things with Randy Brown got a little bit sketchy, but that was a massive step up in competition for a young kid on a big stage. It was close. You could argue either way on it. He probably shouldn't have been a -200 favorite, but he did what it took to get his hand raised. Man, I love the ability to wrestle. I love his jiu-jitsu. I love his vicious offense. He's looking for the finish, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the ground, anywhere this fight goes. And I just think you have to watch out in round one. Battle's been cracked a couple times early, but he's been able to dig deep. He's been tough enough to not, go out cold. He fights his way back into the fight. It's a little alarming that he got cracked by AJ Fletcher once or twice. So I worry about the early finish. But if Nursulton doesn't finish him in round one, I think this is Bryan Battle's fight to lose. I really think he should just absolutely roll here in this spot. And this line might be inflated a little bit because Nursulton is kind of flying high and he's got these big flashy moments. So Nursulton is plus 143 odds via Cloud Bet. The favorite is -165, Bryan Battle. Coach, I think that's a fair price. Like, is there a cliff you got to talk me off of here? Because I'm ready to launch a little bit here on Bryan Battle. What do you think of this fight?
Well, one, I thought that Bryan Battle lost the Randy Brown fight. I thought Brown should have gotten the nod on that. And then the other thing too is, do you remember Chase Hooper? And hold on, I'm going to pull it up because I want to make sure I don't screw this up.
If I wasn't wearing the blue shirt in victory, I would be wearing my Chase Hooper shirt for Chase Hooper Fight Week. So yes,
Chase Hooper, Steven Peterson, and Steve Garcia. Do you remember those losses?
Yes.
Right, and they were horrible, right?
Awful.
But what about Chase Hooper now?
Yeah, different story.
And so you look at Nursulton. Everyone, we all thought he was a fraud because of his padded record. Before the UFC. But if you look at him now, it's not, you can really only take the UFC fights, in my opinion. We see a lot of regional scene tape where people look amazing and come in and shit the bed, and then they look horrible and they come in and look amazing. And you've got a guy now who is, what is he, 4-1, 5-1 in the UFC. His only loss is to Buckley, who Buckley is really good and could blast double a freight train. Brian, do you think Brian Battle is going to be able to get Nursulton down like Buckley did? I don't think there's a prayer. Brian Battle's unbelievably hittable. He's very durable, all right, but he's also fighting 170 pounders. Now he's going up to 185. And, now you've got to get Nursulton, who's got a piston of a right hand. He does the right stuff. He's training with the Philly boys. I think that team up there with Joe Pyfer and crew, I think is one of the best in the world right now. And, so how does Battle win this? Not to say he can't, because Battle is very tough and he finds a way to win. His wrestling's not amazing. It's serviceable. I mean, Randy Brown body locked him, took him down multiple times. He's not submitting.
I feel like Randy Brown has underrated wrestling, though, to be fair on that one.
He does, but that's a striker. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, Randy Brown's not a high school level wrestler. Not to say that he's isn't a good wrestler, but so then you have tall Nursulton, and so what Battle does, he punches his pressures. He's Fluffy Hernandez Jr. with cardio. He pressures you, which is great, but he pressures you right into the clinch, and that's where he does his best work. All right, he dirty boxes, clinches. That's his best spot. Clinch works best when you're taller, and generally Battle is equal height or taller. When you're fighting a guy like AJ Fletcher, who's a hobbit compared to you. Now you're fighting a guy who's 2 to 3 inches taller than you. So a lot of that is going to be negated. And I like Nursulton here for the upset, especially at those odds. I mean, so you've got to hope. Really, what the hope is that Nursulton fades that badly that Battle can just finish him in round 3 or something like that, or really just take over in round 2. Man, Nursulton was even fighting his way up against Buckley in round 2 and 3. I like Nursulton here.
Okay, fair enough. I gotta see it to believe it against decent competition, and it's a good point to note that Battle is moving up a weight class here for this one. I think it makes a lot of sense to make sure we point that out to the people. But man, Brian Battle at 170 pounds, I've been talking for a long time about how I felt like that was just a really bad idea. He looks like the Beast Titan, man. I don't know if your kids watch anime or anything, but his body is so awkward. He's got too much frame on him. There's no way he's going to be like Anthony Rumble Johnson. Like, I'm worried he's going to miss weight at 185 pounds now that his body finally got a couple nutrients. I think his body's going to go, oh God, we need more. And he might have to move up to 205 because he's freaking huge, man. He's got that giant torso on him. And you could tell he was just starving himself to stay at 170 pounds. So if his durability is maintained or improved and the power moves up with him to 185, like, I think Battle could be a problem up a weight class.
I think Battle is very good, but I think he's going to struggle against the higher level of competition because I think his defense, he's too willing to just let his nut swing and just go punch for punch. And that's going to work until it doesn't. So I like Battle. I think he's really good, but I'm not sold that he's going to be an upper echelon fighter after beating AJ Brown and I think a gift win over or AJ Fletcher and a gift win over Randy Brown.
Okay, fair enough, Coach. Fair enough. We'll disagree on this one. I do want to see what Battle looks like here up a weight class. So let's pump the brakes on any kind of a pre-flop bet or anything like that. I want to make sure he looks good, makes the weight, feels good, all that kind of stuff. And we'll take a look when this thing gets a little bit closer. But very, very exciting fight. Frankly, I want to look at an under. That's kind of the big thing here for me, is whether Nursulton is gonna pull off the upset or whether Battle is able to just kind of do what I think he can and put it on him to the point that he won't be able to hang in there. I think this is going to be a violent fight. The under 2.5 is -113 right now on Cloud Bet. So I think that might be a half decent look in this fight. I've got a hard time seeing it go the full distance. But real quick, shout out MMA Locker Room, my guy from over back at Pub Sports Radio. He has an interview up with Nursulton Ruziboev. He's apparently the only American that Nursulton will do interviews with. So congratulations, my guy. That's a huge achievement there. Shout out to you for still grinding and doing the good work. And if you guys want to hear what Nursulton's got to say, go check that out. Next fight up, we have got Edson Barboza. He's taking on Drakkar Klose, Arizona boy. Drakkar Klose fighting out of the lab, hanging out with Sean O'Malley. Drakkar Klose is a super cool dude. I met him a couple of years ago, and it's funny, I keep running into him here around Arizona at some local scenes and stuff like that. I went to the DraftKings bet gala that they had here a couple of months ago and ran into him there. He was talking to Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. It was really cool, so I got to kind of pull him off to the side and we had a little chat and caught up. And then I actually caught him. I went to Rough, the local scene, Rough 63 a couple of weeks ago, and he was there because he had some guys going at the fight. So shout out Drakkar. I hope you're not listening. I love you, buddy. He's a really awesome guy, and I'd love to do more with him. But I think this is a really bad fight for him, Coach. I really do. I love Edson Barboza as much as the next guy, and at 39 years old, he's kind of reminding me of Jose Aldo a little bit. He just refuses to go away. Like he just hangs around. He continues to be okay, and his durability is hanging up, even though he's taken life-changing beatings. I thought that wasn't going to work for him, but he seems to be all right. He's still got the spinning kicks. I mean, he just went 25 straight minutes with one of the dark horse contenders of the weight class. It's scary what he's still continuing to do after all this. Drakkar Klose, as much as he is really good everywhere, he's solid, he's very physically strong, he slows down a little bit. And in round 3, when he gets tired, his hands drop a little bit. And man, I'm worried about this fight getting extended. If Drakkar doesn't get it early, I think we could be looking at another highlight reel round 3 spinning heel kick from Barboza, because you can't drop those hands against this guy.
So this is another one. I think, first of all, Edson's moving back up to 155. So he was down at 145, and now he's moving back up. Which just lets you know that is a struggle for him, and his body's not doing all of the stuff that he wants it to do. And so there's that. Now, on a technical level, just all things considered, I actually think this is as perfect of a fight for Drakkar as it gets, because Edson has great kicks, and Edson does really well at distance. But when you pressure Edson, if you feint or throw at Edson at all, he backs up. He immediately retreats. And he will do that at the expense of putting his back against the cage. And if Drakkar punches his way in and works his way into the clinch, I feel like he's going to bust Barboza up in the clinch and with his physicality. And he is a powerhouse. Like, just look at he lost. He got knocked out by Joel Alvarez this last fight. But very easily, he just grabbed him, picked him up, threw him down without even like a good grip on him. So I think where Drakkar has and the other thing going on Barboza, he's really sharp on a in front of you one line direction on his punches. Okay, so he tends to almost be a little overly technical in that situation. Drakkar, he sees stuff well coming at him, but as he throws, he pops his chin up. And I think that is going to be, if you brawl with Drakkar, I think that's a better option for you, throwing big hooks, uppercuts, hooks, and kind of swinging that way. But I think, and then in terms of cardio, man, I think Barboza is known to slow down, especially when people pressure him. So I think outside of something highlight, I think I see Drakkar just being in Barboza's face and bullying him with forward pressure, and honestly, a lot of cage pushing. We've seen Drakkar beat people who are probably better than him by just being very tactical, putting him on the fence, understanding when to get a takedown, understanding when to clinch. He's smart and he knows how to win. So I like Drakkar here, especially as a dog as well.
Okay. All right. See, I love to hear that, because what happens to me is when I like somebody, the heart and the head get messed up a little bit, that I'm like, I know I'm Team Drakkar. I know I want to cheer for Team Drakkar, but when I'm watching the tape, all I can see is the spots where he might get caught. All I can see are the opportunities for him to lose the fight because I know I'm rooting for him. So I'm a little scared at the wheel here on this one. Drakkar Klose is currently a plus 141 underdog via Cloud Bet. Man, I hope he could be the dog of the night. That would be freaking awesome because I'm definitely going to be rooting him home. He's a really good dude. I would love to see him get a big win like Edson Barboza on his report here. Guys, real quick, just to let you know, Coach has a hard out tonight, so we're going to move a little quicker here on the show. I won't end the stream early. I can hang out and we can answer questions and stuff like that towards the end, but I want to make sure we get as much of Santino's thoughts as we can here for you. So Anthony Hernandez and Chase Hooper. I am and always have been Chase Hooper. I don't think Hernandez, you know what? I got sold by Hernandez when he made his UFC debut and took the UFC by storm the way he did. I thought he was going to be legit. I thought he was going to be the absolute shit. But Chase Hooper's been my boy forever. Like I said, I've got the t-shirt. It's literally hanging in the closet. We hit the round 3 TKO prop at 40-1 back in the day. So good vibes forever on Chase Hooper. I just think he's grown into his frame. I love the kid. I love the attitude. I love the work ethic. And frankly, Alexander Hernandez barely has the cardio to go 15 these days. I know he might out wrestle Chase, but I feel like there's always like a sweep or a back take in there. Like it's got to be Chase Hooper for me. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I don't really know how Alex wins this. And I like Alex. He's come and trained with us, and I think he's super physical. One thing that he has done as of late is he's tried to get good, and that has taken away his physicality. He's no longer just swinging for the fences. And I think his apeness was one of his best attributes. And now he's trying to be technical, and it works in some areas. And I like it. So you don't want to be like just sloppy, but you got to know what you're good at. You got to know where your strength is, and his strength is his strength and physicality. And he has put in a governor on his own body and his own abilities by trying to be more technical than I think he is. And he moves well, and he does a lot of the right stuff. His time at Factory X gave him, the footwork and the stance switching and the hands and, the whole bit. But then he's death gassing, man, especially against grapplers. We saw with Damon Jackson, who death gasses as well. And I mean, Damon took him down quite a few times. And I think Chase is probably taller, longer, more gangly, maybe even a little bit stronger than Damon up at 155. And the other thing is Chase will jujitsu some shit. Like he'll pull guard. He'll be throwing arm bars, triangles, attack a leg, come up, use that to sweep. He's very tactical, and he understands how to win. He's not just going to lay on his back. And his striking is getting better. He's getting more comfortable striking. I don't think he's going to outstrike Hernandez, but I think he's not going to panic like he did against Garcia and Steven Peterson early in his career. And then once he gets people down, everybody talks about his submissions, which are great. Man, I'm not afraid of that dude submitting me. Please, if I fight Chase Hooper, please submit me instead of body triangle me, flatten me out, belly down, and elbow my soul out of existence. Because that dude's ground and pound is solid. I really like his ground and pound, and I think I like Hooper inside the distance here. I don't know if I would call a submission or a TKO because he will get those positions and beat on people and sometimes not take the choke. So I think Hooper inside the distance is the call that I like on this.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach. That's always my big thing with Chase is I got to shout out the elbows and the ground and pound. He is absolutely carrying the torch for skinny white boys. The ref has to pull him off of you, and he does what Colby Covington threatens to do. He does leave you in a pool of your own blood. So love me some Chase Hooper. Glad we're on the same side. And it's funny, throwback, the last time Chase was on a pay-per-view card, we had a Chase Hooper inside the distance parlayed with, who was the other leg that we did with that? I think it was, damn it, I'm blanking out here. I had a parlay with two of the guys on this card. Whatever, I'll figure that out later. Let's keep it rolling. Any thoughts on Jessica Andrade or Lupi Godinez? I know that's not your favorite weight class
only
or
because,
gender. So.
I mean, I am familiar. I like Lupi's wrestling, but Andrade she has the physicality. And sometimes I think Lupi thinks she's a little bit better of a boxer than she actually is. I don't think she's bad, but I don't know that she wants to go blow for blow with Jessica Andrade. So I don't know. That's all I'll say on that.
Okay. I'll come back to that one. So, like I mentioned, you guys, Coach does have a hard out, so we're going to move through the rest of these fights a little bit quicker. I will circle back on the ones we haven't spent enough time on, and we can definitely have some interaction with the chat. So do me a favor, hit the like button and stick around because we're going to get into this stuff. Gerald Meerschaert and Michal Oleksiejczuk. Looks like Michal has had a bit of a resurgence in his life now that he's one of the fighting nerds. And Gerald Meerschaert, the man who can never be counted out. He seems to be good everywhere. He always can work his way back into a fight when people death gas. Round 3 must be considered. What do you think of this one?
I don't know, man. I mean, Lord Michael should get the job done. He's fast. He moves well. He does have good. He does all the right stuff. He checks the boxes. My issue with him is he's a little smaller. We saw like, gosh, what was it? Kevin Holland throw an armbar up there and get the armbar. Just some weird submission-y stuff. And like, man, Gerald is so slow. Like, holy shit, man. I've never seen a human that slow in my life. Like, we live in America, man. There are fat people all over the place that can barely stand up, and Gerald Meerschaert might walk and move slower than them. I think we need to get him like a little rascal just to drive, across the street to the store or something. And, but you can't count him out. So, like, I mean, on paper, Lord Michael should murder him, but so should the last 27 people that he's submitted. So, I like Lord Michael here. The issue is that he's got a high price tag. So where's the value on it? Do you go, does GM3, does it end up being a knockout or does it end up being a decision? Then maybe there's a live bet in there somewhere. I don't know if it's bettable at the price where it's at because you also don't know how it's going to finish. So if you're going to bet it, you got to kind of prop it inside the distance or something. But I don't know if it's a bettable fight, but I do like Michael here for the win. Michelle.
Okay.
I think
all right.
Michelle, Michael, how the hell you say that?
Michelle is a minus 205 favorite currently. So we're looking at 2-1 favorite. That's not so bad. Could be worse. We've seen worse. No sweat there. Really quickly, I want to shout out one of the sponsors here, Spectation Sports. And the reason I'm going to spend just a couple minutes of our precious time with you on this one is because one of the cards coming up, unless I'm mistaken, has team fight ready Kyle Kelcher Jelly. Is that correct?
I don't know who that is. Guy? I don't think so.
Oh my God, they messed me up. Okay, well, that's my bad. They told me he was training out of Fight Ready, and I was all excited to go ahead and shout out.
So you guys, they might, is he a pro or is he an amateur?
Looks like he is 2-0 as a pro.
Unless he just came to the gym.
Man.
But I've also been out. I haven't been in the gym for a week. Today I came in because I was closing the deal on my business. So I'm back.
You'd think you'd know a guy named Jelly though. So like, if you don't,
I don't know him.
Ah, man, all right. Now I'm going to get on them because they said he was team fight ready. And that was the whole reason I spent 2 seconds on it. We'll move on. The next one, man, Bobby King Green back from the dead, taking on Carlos Diego Ferreira. Couple of geriatric UFC fighters coming here in this one, couple of decent names. And man, I don't know what to make of either of these guys right now. Carlos Diego, I wrote him off years ago and he's still got some gas in the tank, apparently at 40 years old. Second stint here at life. His TKO win over Michael Johnson, aging pretty well right now. His finish over Mateus Rebecki. I mean, Rebecki maybe not the monster under the bed we thought he was, but still aging pretty well. Coming back in round 3 to finish a young kid like that. He got beat by Grant Dawson. Okay, so what? You get taken down and rode on by Dawson. He does that to everybody. Bobby Green on the flip side of this thing, 2 years younger, 38 years old. He is 1-3 in his last 4. He's been finished in back-to-back fights by Patty and Rufi. But before that, man, he was kind of doing whatever he wanted against the mid-level of guys. When he takes a step up, when his opponent is younger, he's in trouble these days, though. Drew Dober knocked him out. Jared Gordon headbutted him and knocked him out. Jalen Turner, I thought he was never coming back from that, quite frankly. So I'm totally ready to just be kind of done with the Bobby Green experiment. You hate to say that. But the damage has got to be adding up at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, man, Green 3 years ago checked so many boxes. He was loose. He didn't overdo stuff. He's athletic. He's fast. He defends takedowns, everything there is. And like you said, Fajeda is like pretty much written off. And then their trajectories have kind of switched. And now Bobby's Green is fighting a murderer's row of people. I mean, but the thing I can't get by with a last Bobby Green fight against Patty is, Patty's throwing low kicks. Then he catches the kick and goes for a blast double. Like, what are you doing? How is shooting on Patty your path to victory? Bobby Green is chinny. He showed bad fight IQ there. And, but then he's fighting Fajeda, who I don't think is very good, but he just won't die. Yeah. He is still there trying to win, though. And I don't know if Bobby Green is. So, like, I look at Bobby as the technical guy the better guy on every facet of this. For the most, I mean, Fajeda can scramble. He is a great scrambler in terms of jiu-jitsu scrambling and stuff. So he does a really good job there. But I don't know what to make of Green. I look at him almost like a Kevin Holland these days, where it's like, which version is going to show up? Is it the Holland who's laughing and talking and letting people do whatever they want, or the one that's there to actually win? And so I think Green is the better guy. But if gun to my head and you're like, you have to bet everything you own on someone, I bet it on the guy that doesn't do as many dumb things and is still there to win in Fajeda. But then you have the cardio issue as well, where in the past he's slowed down quite a bit. I don't know if that's going to be the pace, because Bobby Green's not a guy that puts a pace on people like that. But I think I like Fajeda to win, but I have very low confidence because these are two old geriatrics. Bobby's a better guy. He's a more athletic guy. He's a faster guy, but you can't count on him.
Yeah, I'm at the same point as you. And frankly, with what we've seen from Fajeda, he's still got that power, man. And if that durability's cracked on Bobby at all, that's a problem, even at 40 years old against a guy like Fajeda. So I'm kind of leaning the same way with you there on that one.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to bet. Like, why not? You've got a bunch of other fights to bet with good fighters. Why bet two bad fighters? Like, there's no reason to do it. At this point, you're just throwing money and just hoping it lands. So bet a good fighter. If you have two bad fighters, like, I don't know, bet the over or the under, but it's hard to put a lot of faith in a bad fighter.
I bet Cody Brundage last week. That was personal. I feel personally attacked. All right, guys. Next up, you got Tim Elliott and Kai Asakura. I love Elliott. I love Tim Elliott. Like, he's so weird. I can't imagine trying to game plan for this man. I can't imagine trying to have somebody mimic this guy in camp. Like, it's got to be so frustrating to deal with when you get in the cage and it's not anything like you prepared for. Kai Asakura got literally flown in by the UFC to give Pantoja a warm body to try to fight out there. He's a fun fighter, live and die by the sword. Juan Archuleta knocked him out in 2023. That punched his ticket to the UFC. Like, this guy is huge for the weight class, and he hits really hard, but he's so aggressive. He opens himself up to being finished, and he's been knocked out 3 times. So, man, this is American wrestling cardio pace. Does Tim Elliott still got it? Or is Kai going to firmly plant his flag and really get going in the UFC the way some people thought he would, shooting him right up to that title shot? I'm not so sure what to think. This is the guessing game I always lose, man. When is the fighter shot? Are they past their due date? I can't ever get that right. So if I write Tim Elliott off as being old, he's going to look fine on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't even know that it matters. I mean, maybe he's old, maybe he's not. We don't really know. But I think with Elliott, first of all, Asakura is huge. He's huge. Massive. He is a great striker. But what I like about him is he's not afraid to throw at the expense of getting taken down. And we'll see him, instead of like backing up and worrying about a shot, he's swinging, throwing a flying knee. And he hits people on the way in. And I like that. And he does a lot of the right stuff. Even Pantoja took him down in the first round. He was getting back up, and he was doing a lot of the right stuff. Sorry, I'm looking at these comments. Hey, white boy Santino and his 30-year-old virgin friend, diehard boy with a cocky hat and glasses. Who wins, Ilya or your mom? I'm like, all right. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry,
that's a new
that
one.
caught me.
I don't
So
never seen him before ever, so don't sweat that too much.
anyway, Asakura does all the right stuff. He's massive, and I think Elliot. I think Elliot gets people when they think they're going to out-grapple Elliot, and they end up scrambling with him. And I don't think that Asakura is going to scramble, and I don't think he's going to get involved in as much of the chaos as Elliot wants. And I like Asakura here, and I know Elliot is very hard to finish, but I could see Asakura getting the TKO here.
Yeah, man. I'm like I said, I'm leaning towards saying that Tim Elliott might be a little cooked, so I'm scared to just come out and write him off. But he has been finished a bunch of times. He's been knocked out once. He's been submitted 6 times. That was always kind of his Achilles heel, is he left his neck out and stuff like that. But his last win was against Sumajiri in 2023, which he's been off at this age for several years. That's not a good sign. The wins recently were Sumajiri and Victor Altamirano. Neither of those are good to write home about right now. So yeah, man, I'm kind of with you. I feel like this is a Kai gets back on track type of spot, especially just with how big he is.
The only issue that I don't is I'm weirdly superstitious about some things. Not even superstitious. There's a trend that I see. When people fight for a title and lose, they very, 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 very regularly lose the next fight. And Asakura is in that situation here. Now, he's a little bit of a different situation because his first fight in the UFC was for the championship. So I think he's still going to have that desire to win. He needs his first win in the promotion. But it's a weird thing when they fight for a title and lose.
It's like being the Super Bowl loser.
Yes. So anyway, something to think about.
For sure. No, I'm with you there on that one. But I do think that he's a fighter where the other thing that we see, sorry, I'm stumbling over this a little bit. The other thing that we see is there are fighters who come from other organizations and they always seem to lose their first fight. So regardless, title fight or not, we're looking at all the guys who came over from Pico, all the guys who came over from Bellator. Exactly. They lose, they get jumped, they lose their first fight. The UFC gives them the worst possible fight they can. They bring them in on short notice. They don't give them a training camp. And then after they take their L, then they get to go and have a good fight, and they get to go and get their win. So I do think that he's probably somebody who will have that bounce back opportunity here. So I'm with you. Next up, you've got Jared Cannonier taking on Michael Venom Page. Man, a fight I never thought I'd see. I didn't ever expect this one. MVP moving up to 185 randomly for no reason these days. He's going to have a massive height and reach advantage over Jared Cannonier, even though Cannonier is the natural 185er. Cannonier getting old these days. You can see the durability falling off of a cliff, but he still got it as far as the cardio goes. So it's pretty crazy what he did to Gregory Rodriguez in the last fight. I picked him for the upset. I never thought he was going to like straight up finish him like that necessarily. So impressive for him to go out there and do the damn thing. But I think he's going to struggle with the speed of MVP, especially in a big cage like this one. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think Jared could win this relatively easily if he kind of goes to what he's good at: pressure, find his way in, even getting some takedowns, kind of bullying the situation. But what we've seen recently with Jared is that he'll back up, and you feint him, you throw, and he'll kind of jump back, and he's a lot more measured these days. And I think in a 5-round fight against somebody like Rodriguez, who's gonna gas himself out trying to murder you, I think, hey, that's your path to victory. But I think MVP, just his movement and the big cage and just touching, I think is going to be really hard for Jared to handle. And then the other thing that I like about MVP is he's very laterally aware, and you start pressing him to the cage and he is left and right, even to the extent where he will sprint around the cage to find the center again. He knows he doesn't want to be on the cage. I think if Jared were to calf kick on the outside, punch his way in, I think he could really bully MVP a lot. But I think the lateral footwork and the movement is going to be really hard. I think there's actually going to be kind of a boring point fight type of thing that is not going to be the barn burner that we want. And I think it's going to be like, like, oh yeah, I guess MVP kind of won that, but he kind of touched. It wasn't really exciting. And I think we look at these guys and we think, oh, this is going to be a barn burner. But I think stylistically, it's probably going to go to the judges' scorecard.
Okay, interesting. That's an interesting call for sure. In a 3-round fight, that's probably very likely. All right, guys, we got about 6 minutes till coach has got to bounce out of here. Geoff,
sorry
Neal
guys, I have to go get my kids at wrestling practice, so
yeah,
I gotta.
It's all good, all good. Geoff Neal and Carlos Prates. I'm not even going to preamble. I'll let you go on this one.
Man, I love Geoff Neal in so many ways. He's such a good boxer. He's so strong. He's so durable. His takedown defense is so good that Shavkat couldn't even get him down. Ended up taking his back and choking him out standing. But I mean, he does all the stuff and he does it really well. And his cardio is good. He checks all of the boxes. For this fight stylistically, though, I like Prates because he checks all of the boxes as well, but he attacks differently. First of all, his takedown defense against Ian Gary was just amazing. The way that, I mean, I loved watching that. That was phenomenal. Just hipping in, grabbing him, butt dragging, pushing him, especially early in the fight. And then Prates gets hit, but he rolls punches well. Like he's never like hit clean, and you never really see anything stun him because he is so elusive with the shoulder rolls and his movement and his angles. He's definitely a slow starter. But Geoff Neal is not some guy that's going to go at you guns blazing round one anyway. I like Prates here. I think eventually he's going to start finding his mark, and just his mix of weapons and attacks. I like him here. I love Geoff Neal. I think he's great. But I think the dynamic array of strikes is going to favor Prates.
Okay. All right. Co-main event, Lerone Murphy and UFC transplant Aaron Pico here making his debut. No Evloev, which is a crying shame. I wanted to see that fight, but I will take this one. What do you think here, Coach?
Man, this is another guy coming from another organization to first fight co-main event. I don't know that the lights are going to get him because he's been under the lights his whole life. I mean, he's a state champion in California, I believe. Don't quote me on this. I think a freshman and a sophomore state champ, which California is the hardest state championship to win. There's one division. There's no 1A, 2A, 3A. There's one state champion per weight. That's it for, 10 billion people in the state. He didn't even wrestle his junior or senior year because he wanted to just focus on freestyle and the Olympic team. So this dude is just wrestling men at 16, 17 years old. His boxing is good. His boxing is clean. He's physical. I like him. On the other side, we have Lerone Murphy, who's really, really good everywhere. I mean, he's phenomenal. Striking is getting a lot better. He's very clean. He's a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. He has good cardio. He checks all of the boxes too. Where I see this fight going is Lerone is technical, and I think to beat Pico, which we've seen before, you need to brawl him. You need to swing. You need to find him and catch him. Being technical with Pico, I don't know if that's the way to do it. And Lerone is so technical. We haven't seen him get a finish since Mac won with the flying knee. He got mauled round one, round two, flying knee. So there's that. I thought he lost the fight to that Brazilian kid that was taking him down, Santos or whatever it was a few fights ago. He won a split decision. He did what he needed to do. But I like Pico here. I like Pico, and I think Lerone Murphy is going to end up 16-1 at the end of this.
Okay. All right. And I wish we had more time, but it be what it be. Coach got to get the kids. So let's.
No, I can run over the main event. I mean, we're at the main event. I can't bail out of that.
All right. Let's do the main event here. Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. I have been on the Dricus train since he got to the UFC. Just an absolute freak. I mean, I know everything he does is fluky, but like at what point does it become a pattern? You know what I mean? Like he does these crazy, insane things, and you just got to kind of accept that he's different from everybody else at this point. He catches the second wind, even though he looks like he's absolutely exhausted. He's got ungodly power. He went through the Shark Tank with all the BJJ black belts from Gracie's and tapped everybody in the room. Like, I love this guy. And on top of that, I'm hoping he makes Khamzat cry. He's going to make somebody cry before the fights at the press conference. I just hope it's Khamzat that he gets with it. But Khamzat's, the freak of nature. The UFC's been bending over backwards to get this guy into the United States so that he can actually fight on this card, even though he's got ties to a known war criminal. Like they're doing whatever they can to get him here. He's massive. He's another freak of nature. The thing for me is I really feel like this thing comes down to cardio. Khamzat is the best round one fighter we've ever seen. I know he's got the win over Kamaru that went the distance. Kamaru is not a 185er. I know he submitted Rob. Rob's not the same guy anymore. I feel like if Dricus can handle himself early, I don't know that Khamzat's ready for the 25-minute deep waters. And frankly, coach, this is a fight where for me, from a gambling perspective, I've already got my guy. I've already been on Dricus to this point. You can only ride a hot streak once. When it's over, it's over. I'm going to take plus money on Dricus Du Plessis literally anytime they give it to me until I have a reason not to. That streak may come to an end on this pay-per-view card. But until it comes to an end, I'm riding Dricus at plus money. So it's DDP for me.
Now, the narrative here is the cardio, right? DDP's probably biggest strength is his cardio. And Chimaev's biggest weakness is his cardio, right? But what if Chimaev doesn't gas? And he's working with TJ Dillashaw's same strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, out there in LA, and
that changes things.
Does all of a sudden he just have unlimited cardio, just like TJ did at his height of things?
I'm the biggest TJ truther you're gonna find, man. I believed, yeah.
So maybe he doesn't gas, but we'll say that he does. All right, Chimaev is I think the better fighter all around. I think his striking is more, I don't know, I want to say better, but more traditional, what we're used to. His wrestling, of course, is amazing. His jiu-jitsu is great. He does all the right stuff, throws big, hard, fast punches. We know that. But he's, he went to a decision with Burns, and he went to a decision with, 10-day Usman. And those guys are 70 pounders. And I know Usman fought him at 185, but those are 70 pounders. And even what he did to Robert, Robert was a former 70 pounder. He's not a huge 85er. And even then, I'm the biggest Robert Whittaker fan in the world, but he has not looked amazing in his last couple of fights, and he's losing in these weird ways. And it's kind of the DDP fight was kind of the downfall of him. So I really do like Robert, but looking back in hindsight, that win isn't as strong now as it was when it first happened, like just looking at it. And then the thing with DDP is he doesn't get hit. He shells up well. He covers. He's really awkward, but a lot of people in MMA don't cover their head. They just try and slip and move and do that. And DDP just covers and moves out of the way. Covers, moves out of the way. Covers, moves out. And if that happens, I think that's going to frustrate Chimaev. But the real thing here is we know is can Chimaev finish DDP early? And if he can't, then what? I don't think he's going to finish DDP in the first 2 rounds. Nobody else has done it. And it's not like if he finished Usman in the first round and if he finished Burns in the first round as well, then I'd be a little bit more likely to say, okay, maybe he's going to finish DDP in the first round as well. But he hasn't. So people have gotten away from the death grip of Chimaev. I think Chimaev on EPO wins every division against every fighter on the planet.
Unstoppable.
Without EPO and as a normal human who tires out, I think I like DDP here, and I've gone against DDP probably every time. in every fight, in every way, in everything, because it just doesn't seem like he should win. And he does. And he does. And he does. And you have DDP at plus money like that. Like you said, I don't think it's a bad spot.
I also just think it's disrespectful to make the seeded champion plus money. I mean, even money, sure, but plus money, come on now. Yeah, Khamzat on EPO would be a completely different story, and we'll see if that happens. But sneaky way maybe to look at this, the over 2.5 is currently plus 101. So you can get even money on this thing to get up and over 2.5. And I know everybody's scared of Khamzat round 1, but if you look at Dricus, the only 2 times he's been finished, they were both in round 3. They were both extremely deep in the fight. So overs might be crazy.
To go.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if it's going to happen, that seems to be the theme. So he's not prone to getting caught early, it doesn't seem. So over might be a sneaky way to look at this fight, no matter who wins it. Real quick, I got to shout out my guy, Free UFC Bet Picks, with the $10 donation. Thank you, my friend. And he says, GOAT show. Everyone buy Santino's book. It's amazing. So shout out to you, buddy, for jumping in the chat. Shout out to Coach.
Please do.
Thank you for joining me on the show. I really appreciate it. I especially appreciate the extra couple minutes you've given us here while your kid's sitting on the side waiting for the bus that's not
curb in Arizona. You know, it's just 118 degrees. They'll live.
No big deal. Toughen them up a little bit.
Yeah. So thanks for having me, man. Thank you guys all in the chat. I was trying to say thank you in the chat, but then it wanted me to link like YouTube and this and that. I'm like, geez, I can't. I don't have time for this. That's just crazy talk. Anyway, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you all, and happy betting.
This was so cool, Coach. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
Thanks. I'm out. See you guys
later. All right. That was awesome. Coach Santino is absolutely just the man. So appreciate him stopping by. And, a little unfortunate with the way the timing went there, but he had to go. So we're happy for the time that we got. We're not dealing with that. Thank you very much. As always, you guys, this show has just one rule: no hate speech, no racism, no sexism, none of that. We don't deal with that. Keep politics and hate speech out of my chat. Those are the only 2 things that you've got to do or avoid. You can make fun of me in my face all you want. We can talk about the fighters. If there's political connections there, then that's fine. But besides that, like, if you start getting rowdy in the chat like that, you're just gone. Like, I'm not dealing with that shit. But we still have time, you guys. I'm not going to just end the show on you that quickly. We did keep that nice brisk pace because Coach had to get out of here, but I'm going to hang out with you guys, interact with the chat. We can go ahead and talk some sides. Danny, my boy, you got your mic? You got your camera plugged in? You want an invite to wrap the show with me? Let me know. Real quickly, you guys, I got to go ahead and shout out Cloud Bet. That is right, everybody. They are the new sponsor of the Die Hard MMA podcast. Promo code Die Hard MMA when you sign up. And guys, they are going to absolutely roll out the red carpet for us. There is a welcome package for Die Hard MMA gamblers, up to $2,500 in cash. The VIP welcome package. It's a launch pad. When you get in there, you get 10% rake back from day one. Daily cash drops, and you'll be rewarded from the very first bet that you make all the way through your first 30 days on the platform. When you get that welcome package, it's going to be a 10% rake back from every single bet. Win, lose, or draw, you will earn cash back on your action. The daily cash drops come in, and you can place a bet today and claim your cash back drop tomorrow, every day until the end of your 30-day welcome package. And then on top of that, you guys, you have access to the cash vault. The cash vault is different from your welcome package, and it is unlocked the last day of the Die Hard welcome package. It's a cash accumulation of all of your activity over the period, and it sits outside that potential $2,500, and you can claim that at the end of the 30-day welcome period. So make sure you're using promo code DieHardMMA. Head on over to CloudBet and get signed up. Let's freaking go. I am so pumped up. Glad to be part of the team. Appreciate them for sponsoring the show. And really, really excited about pairing up with them. On top of that, I do want to mention, like I said at the top of the show, they are the official sponsors of both Karate Combat and PFL. When you are betting PFL, they actually have a fight center installed on the site. You can watch and bet on the PFL through the fight center on CloudBet as the fights are going on. And I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with this in baseball and football, whatever. The lines move and then you see the crazy thing happen on the screen. They're like a good, 15 seconds right before it actually goes through to you. This is going to be that plugged in stream that you're going to want to be on. So you'll be up to speed with everything, watching the action, betting on the action as it happens for PFL and Karate Combat. So once again, shout out CloudBet. Make sure you're getting signed up with promo code DieHardMMA. Let's freaking go. Danny, my man. No mic, no camera. Jump on in 10 minutes. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'll shoot you a DM. All right. We're just gonna play. We're gonna wing this shit. I'm gonna send my boy Danny an invite, and we're gonna get him here on the show. If he feels like jumping in, we can talk some fights. Everybody get in the chat. Let me know what we need to go back to, because I know we got a little bit crazy and we got around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and talk to some of these here. Let's see here. Marshall saying Asakura ain't used to people grappling him like Tim because he's used to near pride rule set. People don't shoot low. You can't get kicked in the face. Takes time to adopt. That's an interesting note. That is absolutely an interesting note. Very true. But with how big he is, I still don't know if Tim Elliott's going to have a ton of success. Real quick, I do have to scroll back, you guys, because I saw my boy jump in the chat, and it was unfortunate with the way the timing was going. I couldn't say anything because we had to get Santino wrapped up and out of here. But my boy Razor Sharp Picks, I've been telling you guys he's the sharpest freaking son of a bitch I've ever met in my life, and his only play today was the freaking Phillies. And I've been sweating my balls off with this thing all afternoon because the Reds got out to a 1-run lead and the Phillies couldn't do a damn thing. Guess what happens? Top of the 8th, Razor Sharp Picks comes on through, home run. The game ends 4-1 Phillies. I'm not even kidding. I've never seen somebody bet baseball the way my guy does, and he does not pay me. This is not an advertisement that he gets paid for. I'm just letting you guys know he's the sharpest son bitch I've ever seen. Him and my boy Keg, which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out Keg, make sure you check out Keg, because football season's right around the corner, and he prints. He absolutely prints during football season. So check those two guys out, the only two people I trust, and the only two people I would suggest you actually buy their non-MMA betting package. Obviously, I know a million sharp MMA guys, but for baseball, for football, it's Razor and it's Keg, and those are the only two guys that I'll even talk about. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what's up. Signing up just to live bet PFL. You love to see it. Take what, Ethan? I missed your comment, buddy. What am I taking? What's the offer? What's the bet? Just tell me. Employees asking thoughts on Loopy. Okay, let's talk about that one here, because I know Santino's not big on the women's MMA, but I do actually like that fight. So let's go back to this here for a second. Loopy Godinez and Jessica Andrade. So Loopy's boxing has been the story, right? She has been absolutely improving lights out since training over there with Jessica Feet. You know who I'm talking about. So she is on a bit of a tough skid here. She's 3-2 in her last 5, but her losses to Verna Jandiroba, who's the rightful #1 contender, and Mackenzie Dern, who looks like a new woman since coming back from her divorce, right? They give her a softball with Julia Pilastri, and she looks good in that fight. She goes to the wrestling in that fight. That's always kind of been the thing with Loopy, is she falls in love with her hands. She falls in love with her power, and you can't always count on her to stick to a dang game plan. If she would stick to a game plan, Loopy would just be monstrous. I feel like we're almost right there. We're like right there with her being able to put it all together and do everything correctly. The thing is, Jessica Andrade is still Jessica Andrade, and she's only 33 years old, so she's still got plenty of time left. Now, I know she's gotten finished a couple times in recent fights, but she is still fighting the who's who, and she is still taking stupid fights up at 125 pounds. She is on the Kevin Holland career path. She is just burning through her contract as quickly as possible. Yes, she got submitted by Jasmine Jasudavicius in round 1. It was a bad fight that she took relatively quickly up a weight class, and we know the grappling really has been kind of the problem at 125 for Jessica Andrade. She gave Natalia Silva hell, you guys. If you go back and watch that fight, my girl Natty Silva was looking for the door in round 3. Like, she had to be on her bike the entire fight. And in the 3rd round, she's staring at the clock. She's trying to find how much time she's got. She's breathing through her mouth. Like, it was really rough for her at the end of that fight. So this, in my opinion, is a huge step down for Jessica Andrade to be getting back into Lupi Godinez ballpark of opposition here. Lupi is a minus 145 favorite. Shout out Cloudbet. Plus 127, the comeback on Jessica Andrade. And guys, I'm really legitimately tempted to go ahead and take that shot with Jessica Andrade again this week, because I think she's got faster hands than Lupi. I could say the power is maybe comparable. I don't want to shortchange Lupi because she does have just that raw physical ability that's explosive. But Jessica Andrade has seen heights that Lupi can only hope to get to in MMA, just period in general. And at 115 pounds, she's not as weak. At 115 pounds, she's not as easy to take down. She's not as easy to control. So, like, I really think this is a good fight for Jessica Andrade. This one should be a banger. My only concern is the durability of Jessica Andrade, and just like in the Yan Jianan fight where she ran face first into a counter. It wasn't so much of what Yan did right as Lupi just, I mean, not Lupi, sorry, as Jessica being like, like, just here, right there. Like, she just went face first into that thing and it was a wrap. So I think Lupi could crack her with something big. It's totally possible. But if she doesn't really go to war with Jessica, I think Jessica's just going to put a pace on her. I really do. Dog or pass for me. That one's tough, man. That one's really, Lupi fights are very difficult, mind you. That's not one you necessarily have to put your money on. What's up, Uncle Weezy? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Nickel saying that Lupi has 0 finishing upside. Man, I just, again, it's the durability with Jessica and the natural power of Lupi that I'm just, the car crash. You could always have an oops in that kind of situation. But I really feel like Lupi is going to be seeing a new level on this one. This could be a real tough fight for her. It really, really could be. Dirty Reg saying you can't really trust Andrade to let her hands go. And that's also true. Like, this is probably a stay away fight, frankly. Probably a stay away fight. Insidious, appreciate you. Ethan saying 3-shot Khamzat. And that rhymes. I like that, Ethan. Good deal. Man, you got to quit with these like 3 and 5 shot stuff. Like, I'll do 2, Ethan. I mean, shot bets are fun, man, but I'll do 2. I'm not doing 3 to 6 shots on these bets unless you know it's a big underdog favorite situation where I owe extra shots or something like that. These close to even money fights, I'll give you 2. We'll do a 2-shot bet. I'll take Dricus. No problem. Let's do that. Glenn, how dare you? DDP boring? Excuse me? What? This must see TV. What are we even talking about? Oh my Lord. What's going on, Steph? Appreciate you being here. This is a weird show today. This is a weird show. I got to be honest with you, Steph. So we powered on through the fight card so Santino could break everything down with me. And we started off at my usual pace. That was a little bit too slow for his timeline, unfortunately. So the last couple of fights on the card got a little smooshed, and we're currently waiting to see if my boy Danny will jump on the pod and we can talk a couple of things out. And I'm just kind of rolling with the chat. So if there's a fight that you guys want to hit on, jump on in. Obviously, if you throw a dono in the chat, you'll get right up to the top of the list and we'll talk about your fight right away. And we're just going to kind of roll with the punches here for the rest of the show. Dixon saying, you know, deep down inside, it's going to be the Lupi fight ends in split decision. It's free. And you know what, Dixon? You're probably right. You're probably right. It's a Lupi fight, so it's going to be close. It's going to be hairy. And I thought they were going to do it with Angela Hill last week, but you might be right. It might be a Lupi split for sure. All right, Ethan. All right, we're in. We're in. Two shots. Let's see here. Louis Max says, Clint, you're looking at any one particular bet that you are feeling. You know what? Battle was the one that really kind of caught my eye right away because you guys know I'm trying to fade Nursulton Ruziboev. that's the one that really kind of jumped off the page at me straight away. And coach has me kind of rethinking some of that with the improvements and things like that he's talking about with Nursulton. I don't know, man. I might have to trust my balls on that one and just double down and say, nope, I'm fading this shithead and go with Bryan Battle, who I think has higher upside, wrestling upside, better physicality at 185 pounds. Like, that's the one that really leapt off the page at me straight away. Kai Asakura, I think is probably a pretty good spot. Michael Venom Page, I think, is a pretty good spot. Even though he's naturally a 170 pounder, he's going to have a big height and reach on Jared Cannonier. And I just think Jared's at 41. Like, I love Jared Cannonier, man. He's so good. The way he hung around was great, but I just think this is probably a fight where he's got to show a little bit of downhill here. Chase Hooper. I mean, it's always Chase Hooper season, right? Like, I think Chase Hooper is the way to go. And Dricus. This card, you guys, this is a wonderful betting card. The last couple of weeks, it's been these 6-1, 7-1 favorites. Like, this one, we could step into some potholes because the lines look so enticing for us to actually get our money in on. There's going to be some moves. There's going to be some tug of war. There's going to be some dog shots. Like, I like this card from a betting perspective. I really do. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And to just put the icing on the cake that is the insanity of the UFC 319 podcast, I'm going to welcome in one of my favorite people of all time, somebody I haven't been on camera with in far too long, none other than my boy Danny Betts. Danny, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good, man. Busy. I was working late, grab some dinner. I had to pop in the chat, listen to you guys. You told me, hey, you want to jump on? Oh, man, put my kids to sleep real quick. Finish eating, and I'm here.
I love it, bro. You're the best. I just, when Santino hit me, it's funny. So, and no disrespect, no hate. Don't go after him or anybody. Nobody say anything mean. He's awesome. We love Santino. He hit me in the chat, and I was going a little too slow. And he's like, "Hey, man, I got to go around this time." That I was like, "Oh shit! Like, I gotta hit the gas. We're not gonna make it." So we didn't get to spend the time that I usually like to spend on the fights. And when you were commenting in the chat, I was like, well, I can't just finish the show out by myself. My boy Danny's right there. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I appreciate the invite for sure. Like,
hell
just
yeah,
let me
man.
know ahead of time. I'm usually busy on Mondays, man. I'll be trying to catch your shows live and things like that.
I know.
I always catch the replays, but lately I've been super busy.
Dude, and I remember that's why you and I haven't really done a podcast together the last couple of years, is because I know the schedule just doesn't link up for you with my go time on Mondays. So this just seemed like a perfect opportunity. If you guys don't know, you should know my boy Danny, boxing extraordinaire. He also does MMA, and he's got some really good stuff going. He's part of the Pub Sports radio crew we always run with. So very, very excited. This is awesome to have you on, man. So we already kind of ran through all the fights. Basically, I kind of warp sped the main card. So do you want to just kind of start on the main card maybe and roll through those fights?
Yeah, it's up to you. I don't know what I missed, in those 10 minutes or whatever, but yeah, I'm down. I got a couple bets already on, so.
Well, let's go ahead and let's see here. Do you have any bets on the undercard? We can talk about those and then we'll move to the main card.
Yeah, actually, I think you guys just touched on it a little bit. It was the Andrade and Lupita fight. I took Andrade at plus 136. If you notice, that line is crashing, man. I wish I could have got like an earlier line, like plus 180. I think it was plus 175, but I'll take it, man. I think this should be at least a pick 'em. I mean, look at the girls that she's losing to, bro. Like, and at this weight class too, she's fought Tatiana, Blanchfield, Jan. I mean, is Lupi in that level? I don't think so. And
I don't think so.
If you've been betting on Lupi or just following her fights, like, her IQ is suspect, is bad. She tends to like not grab it when she should. She wants to box people, or I don't know what's going on. And if you remember in that last fight, it was pretty funny. It was a little clip in round 3. I guess she had to use the bathroom. I don't know if you remember that.
I forgot about that.
She said that in the corner. She's like, I gotta poop.
I gotta poop.
But hey, she got the job done. But I mean, there's this one. So I think I only lost one bet versus Andrade. There's one stat that I love about her. And every time she gets taken down, just once, she gets finished. So I've been printing money with Tatiana, Blanchfield, all these fighters are. Jasmine, easy money. But in this fight, man, I don't think Lupi's grappling is overrated in my opinion. And in this weight class, I like Andrade's better. Lupi's not big at all.
No, yeah. Dude, I completely agree with you. Lupi is not a monster, and those are the women who are just absolutely wrecking Jessica Andrade, are these big bully type of fighters, right? So totally with you here. I do not think that that's something that Lupi's going to be able to do. And I think Lupi's going to have a real tough time standing. So like when they get on the feet, even though her boxing is improved, I just really feel like Lupi's going to have a tough time dealing with the pressure of Andrade. And that's a pretty nasty angle, man, that if she gets taken down, she ends up getting finished in the fight. Andrade has got some wrestling chops on her.
Yep. Look at this UFC stats, man. I think the first fight I noticed that, I think it was with Blanchfield. And that's why I think I got her sub like round 1, 2, and 3 at a nice plus odds. And after that, they gave her Tatiana Suarez. That was an auto bet, and Jasmine too. So
yeah.
But this time I gotta take Andrade at plus money. I have to.
Okay, I respect it, dude. I really do. I didn't see what the line was before, but it is currently plus 127 on Jessica Andrade. So nice tight little line there. I like it. Next up, let's talk about Jared Cannonier and Michael Venom Page. I kind of briefly previewed this one a little bit. Somebody in the chat was asking about it. And I think it's MVP, man. I just think the height, the reach. I know Jared still has very good volume. I know he's still got decent power. I know the cardio seems to check out, even though he's 41 years old. But this is a fight that I just feel like he's finally going to be over that hill. You know what I mean? He's got an opponent who can go the full 15 minutes with him. He's got an opponent who's probably just going to be able to out footwork and out move him. And that's not something he's really super used to. So if he can't catch MVP, how does he beat MVP?
Yeah, I agree, man. I was saying in the chat, like, it's a little bit tricky for me for this fight. I don't have no bets for this one, but the speed and the bigger cage is going to be an issue for Cannonier. And plus, he's getting older. He's been hurt multiple times, especially lately. It's just that he overcomes it, and he gets the dub. But I was on MVP at versus Bullet because I knew that was going to be an issue, the speed advantage versus Bullet.
That's sharp.
Yeah, so for me, it's MVP or pass. I don't think I'm gonna bet it. I'll probably sit this one out maybe, unless it drops a little bit. But it's gotta be MVP. Maybe KO prop, because it's been a while, man. He's due for one. And Cannonier, man, he's been getting rocked a lot. Yes, he's been overcoming. You can only do that so much.
Yeah, so, especially at 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, the Nasruddin KO was nasty. So yeah, if he gets pull countered or something and MVP gets him coming back with one of those punches, the speed, I think, could just absolutely make the difference here.
For sure.
Good stuff. All right. Let's see here. Next up, Geoff, Neal, and Carlos Prates. I didn't get a chance to talk about this one. Like I said, we were kind of rapid firing with Santino at this point. Prates, you guys know, he's kind of like Alex Pereira 2.0 for me. I have been trying to bet against him because I just feel like the cigarette cardio is a problem. Like, I don't care where you train at. Eventually, chain smoking, cigarettes has got to be a bit of an issue there for you. And he's 21-7. So like, yeah, he's had this like his late career resurgence. But at the end of the day, like, he was kind of a mangy, gross fighter early on, right? Like, I feel like the fairy tale eventually has to come to an end when you're losing minutes to a guy like Trevin Giles. Like, man, like, I just can't believe the power is going to bail you out every single time. So I've been trying to get on the other side of him. And then thank God for Ian Machado Gary. He got the damn thing done for me. But Geoff Neal is a curious case. I've had a hard time with Geoff Neal his entire UFC run. 16-6, 34 years old. So he's starting to get up there a little bit. He's a little long in the tooth. And he's also kind of losing to the contender level guys. It's a long run away from when we were kind of questioning like his durability and his heart and stuff like that. But I also still just kind of can't get it out of my head the way he's kind of shut down a couple times in fights. Like even the Ian Machado Gary fight, where it just seems like he got kind of he kind of got put in a box, man. He didn't really know what to do. He didn't know where to go. Like, he was just getting out moved. And I know Prates doesn't move that way. And Ian kind of did the same thing to Carlos. So it's not the same style of fight. But if you're going to get down on yourself, if you're going to have that lack of confidence in the fight and have that slow you down the way that it did, that's a concern, because Carlos can find you in the cage when that happens. And this dude's got crazy power. So Prates is not a guy I ever want to be laying chalk on or anything like that. But I think this is a pretty competitive fight at the end of the day. Let me check, pull up Cloud Bet over here. Prates is minus 239. You can get plus 206 on Geoff Neal. I'm kind of taking the coward's way out on this one, man. I'm too scared to go against him. So I'm going to pick Carlos Prates to win. I don't think I can get my money on the line with him, though.
Yeah, I agree. Every time you bet against Prates, and I'm just like, Clint, what are you doing? Personally, man, when you had Giles, I'm like, bro, come on. Like, I agree though. There's definitely holes I see with Prates that I want to, and with Gary, I said it all week. I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger. I'm like, man, this is such a buy low spot on Gary. I think he gets it done. I never bet it. And that was definitely the spot to fade Prates. Here, I don't know if you saw me in the chat. These D-gens. There's going to be people with the Fighting Nerds parlays.
Absolutely.
There's 3 fighters on this card, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 3 only. And Prates is the last one. I agree. I don't like this number. I think Neal's live, man. Southpaw, tough guy. I mean, shit. Like, he overcame death pretty much. Like,
yeah.
But
no joke.
I think this is gonna be tricky for Prates, in my opinion. Like, I'll say this with your Giles bet. He loses fights. He's losing fights until he's not. So I mean, you can't do that with Neal. I think he's more trickier. But at the same time, if you notice with Neal, I had Rakhmonov round 3 or decision, and I sprinkled round 3. I think it was like plus 1,200.
Nice.
Because Neal gets finished late. It's only been a couple times, but it's always round 3. And he hasn't been knocked down in a long time. It's only been once. I think it was Kevin Holland, but that was like
2 sub losses and 1 KO loss in round 3. And the Holland was pre-UFC.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So, I mean, for me, it's Neal or pass. I wouldn't parlay. I know it sounds crazy because I know Prates could look like a big favorite getting a knockout here, but I know Neal's just he's one tough SOB, and it's a dog or pass in my spot. I don't know if I'm gonna get there yet. Because he opened, I think he opened like plus 300. I think. Yeah,
I do think he opened up a bit wider.
If I got that number, I definitely would have took a shot. I'm gonna wait. I mean, it's only it's early in the week, so all these parlays. Hopefully it goes back up. If it goes back up, and I see at least like 285, 290 ish. Might take a little shot, just a unit shot or something like that. Maybe by decision.
Fair enough. Fair enough, man. I think this is maybe a good live bet opportunity. Yeah. Like you should be able to see who's got the edge on this one pretty early. So I might just wait and watch, see what happens, see if there's an opportunity to jump in live at some point. Irish is saying Hands of Steel puts pause on Prates. Maybe. That'd be wild, man. Happen. All right. Co-main event thoughts. Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico. I got to touch on this one just a little bit briefly while Coach was still here on the show. Man, it's funny. I've been the biggest Pico hater of like all time. Shocker, right? Like this phenom stud. I'm the guy that's like, nah, he sucks. And then I'm telling you guys, it's my theory that nobody is special, right? Like that I will always hold to that I'm like, you ain't special until you show me you're special. And at the end of the day, Aaron Pico's been knocked out 3 times. Like he's been surviving over in Bellator. And it's so funny, dude, because
twice.
Yeah, that's the thing. I cashed a KO ticket. I think it was like 16-1 on the shoulder pop out when they called the fight for his shoulder getting dislocated.
Yeah, bro. What did you bet?
I took the KO prop. I was betting against him. I faded him on the KO line, and it got called TKO because his shoulder got dislocated. And I was like, nope, I'm out. I was like, I'm never betting against Aaron Pico ever again. It was perfect.
Way of cash, though. Way of cash.
But dude, it showed me how wrong I was. You know what I mean? I was like, he is whooping this dude's ass. There was zero chance I was
with one arm. He wanted to keep going
with one arm.
He didn't care.
It was so obvious how much better he was. I was like, somebody cage side pulled a Mario Kart and literally chucked a banana peel in the cage for me. There was no chance I was ever cashing that ticket. And I went, I'm just done with this experiment betting against Aaron Pico. I do think that he is kind of a rare freak of nature type talent. And at 28 years old, like, I worry about the body. I worry about the shoulder a little bit. That could be an issue. But he's so ungodly strong. His cardio is fantastic. He's got crazy pop in his hands. He can wrestle. And I mean, like, at a high level, this dude can wrestle. So I know Lerone Murphy is just riding a hot streak. Crazy run, 16-0-1 in the UFC. And he's coming off beating Barboza, Ige, and Emmett. Like, this is a wild fight because we're really going to find out where Pico stacks up here in this kind of a fight. Murphy has done exactly what he's had to do to get some of these wins. And it's crazy because I can, at a certain point, I still am just kind of like, man, I feel like Pico can fill some of those gaps that the other guys haven't been able to fighting Lerone Murphy. Like Josh Emmett, yeah, he's dangerous, but he's a little old. He's a little long in the tooth. Ige, he's dangerous. He's got power, but he can be low volume, and you can out wrestle that guy. Everybody knows that. Edson Barboza, like, yeah, that was a huge win. But like Coach was talking about, if you put Edson on the back foot, he kind of lets you do what he wants. And Lerone came out of that fight looking like he was in a fight. Like, his face was all busted up. He was bloody and swollen all over the place. So, like, props to him for getting the win, but it wasn't without scares. I feel like Aaron Pico's the side here, man. Am I nuts?
You obviously haven't seen my Twitter.
I do my very best not to watch people, dude. The reason I do my show on Monday is so nobody else's like critiques are in my head. I'm like, I do my podcast, I do mine first, and then I see everybody else's. And so whenever I see people making like picks and plays online and stuff, it's like movie spoilers. I'm like, I don't want to see what you bet. No, don't tell me.
No, I completely agree. But I'm really, really good at, like, no disrespect to nobody. I respect everybody's breakdowns and things like that, but I really don't care. That's not gonna take me out of my bet and my side of what I'm seeing. Unless I
overthink it.
I know you're the opposite. Unless I'm the opposite, unless I have a fight that I'll tell you, like, oh, I'm torn, bro. Like, help me out, Clint. But I'm heavy on Pico.
Nice.
I got on my -138 actually earlier this morning. It's a max bet for me.
Beautiful.
It's the third one, and this is crazy. This was not planned, so this is the perfect card. I got a max bet. This is my only third max bet ever in UFC, and this year I have Fiziev plus money.
Beautiful.
Paddy Pimblett, and now Pico. At that number, now it's almost at -200. Like,
yeah.
People in my Discord are like, oh, you're moving lines. I'm like, bro, I don't bet that much. I mean, my max is $400. It's not like thousands. But
yeah, he's -184 right now on Club.
Yeah, man. I'm big on Pico, bro. I once I saw that line, I'm like, this is a trap. People are gonna say, oh my God, Murphy, plus money, disrespect, undefeated fighter, fought the better level of competition, and that's exactly what everybody is saying, man. Go check out my Twitter. Everybody's coming after me, bro.
I'll bet.
Literally, this is the most hate I've gotten in a bet in a long time. And I'm not even going to say it, but yeah, it's hilarious to me. And I love it. I love when people are against me because that's usually the ones that cash.
I agree. When you're on an island, it feels amazing.
Pico, so...
Dude, as soon as I started getting pats on the back with Cody Brundage, as soon as the people in the chat... I was like, no,
bro. I wanted to text you. I'm like, Clint, please cash out. I didn't bet. I didn't bet the other side. I should have. But I'm like, dude, Brundage at chalk, and one stat, and I'm done because I did not bet the underdog. One stat that I saw that he was he never be a southpaw, and he's never won as a favorite. So I mean, the only favorite that he won was Oh my God, I forget. And it was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
So I'm like at
Zaytar.
those numbers, man, against a guy that's pretty much on the same level. But that's beside his case.
It
But
was when he
Pico,
fought a Zaytar that he was a favorite.
yeah. But Pico, okay, I know Dixon's been waiting for this. I'm on Pico, man. I've been following him for a long time, and I love how you brought that fight up against Kennedy. This is the type of fight I want my max bet on. The guy tore his shoulder, his librium, all types of stuff. I don't know. He couldn't straighten out his arm. Like, he had to hold his arm like this in the corner. They're trying to fix it, and he was still trying to beat this guy's ass. He was beating this guy's ass.
Yep.
So the doctors, Vegas made a call. Shout out to Clint for cashing that big ticket, but they made a call and they stopped the fight. Whatever. It is what it is. It's a knockout, really.
Who needs fighter safety?
Yeah. But I've been following this guy for a long time, man. I've always said, like, he's got the goods, man. He's got to put it together. Yeah. Great wrestling, great cardio, Golden Gloves boxer, good power. I mean, the only thing that I would say that he needs to work on is his jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. That's what, if he could get that at least, I know he's got to take him down, but if he could get submissions and things like that, his game will be even way more. But he's only 28. Yeah. That's what people forget. Murphy's
That's crazy.
30. Yes.
6 years younger than Murphy.
It feels like he's been around forever. Murphy's only 34, bro. Like 6 years age gap. I know he's been on the run, but against Emmett, that's out the door. That he was getting taken down easily. And in my book, Pico's a way better wrestler. No disrespect to Emmett, but Barbosa.
Well, and even, 3-4 years ago, maybe there's a conversation, but
right.
Pico's way better than Emmett today.
It's at where's the fighter at that moment? You know what I mean? So you can always say he's overrated, but when did he fight him? I mean, almost 40 years old. So, he got knocked down by Ige. He's got knocked down multiple times. I think it was one of his first fights too. I think it was Turkogov. So I always question his chin. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really. The only thing I don't like about him, the only fight that he did do that was Barbosa. He doesn't really fight for your money. It's like you want him to do a little bit more. He likes to be technical, nice and clean, Yeah. But when it gets gritty, that's where I question him. And this is a horrible matchup, in my opinion, against a guy. And I know a lot of guys from Bellator has been coming around, Apache Mix, Pitbull, guys like that lost. But question yourself, why is he the favorite, especially now? And if you look at the splits, it's like 60% and more is on Murphy. Everybody's on Murphy. But the line is shooting up to minus 200. Like, I mean, for me, and if you want to do your little Instagram stalking, he was training with Sarukian. Remember, he was supposed to fight Evloev. Yeah. You don't think he's got his wrestling shoes at 100% right now?
His wrestling and cardio has got to be on point.
Exactly. Find a guy like Evloev, like, come on now. And I saw a picture on the IG too with Murphy. He just left today to Chicago, bro. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
He's sure. he put the caption, better late than never. And I'm like, I ain't gonna help you, bro. That's a long way.
For sure.
So
dude, I'm sad that I missed the good number, because that was one that I was looking at early, and I just needed, I needed some positive reinforcement there on that one. I like Pico too in this spot, and I'm probably going to find my way into betting him. So, hopefully your max bet is not cursable, because I'm probably going to end up there with you.
No, we're breaking that shit today.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Insidious Gorilla in the comments has me dying over here, though. He says we got to lock Clint out of his books when Cody fights.
Dixon, I've never met Pico, bro. I don't got a picture with him, unfortunately.
Dude, it's so funny though, because I thought I was gonna be, we talked about being on an island, right? Like, it feels good when everybody hates your bet. It's like, oh, I know I'm on the right side when the whole world hates the bet. It was silence when I bet Cody, and then a lot of people being like, "You got this one, man," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like,
right?
If I'm no bondage and Twitter is cheering for me, there's a problem.
My thing was, you said it, Clint. You're like, I know. I'm Ben Brundage at chalk. This is not the move, but you're still doing it.
I need to I've said this before, and I need to legitimately like listen to myself. I need to like replay the podcast on Thursday night before I go into Friday so I can like hear my own warnings. I need to be like, future Clint, do not lay chalk on Cody Brundage.
and I get it. The way you played it before when you were catching those DQs and crazy numbers in round 1, that's the way to bet it on Brundage. Which I can't stand. That's one reason why I can't stand that guy. And I don't know what it is. It's like they have a meeting with the refs before. If you notice in that fight, I forget his opponent's name.
What, against Eric Mechanico?
Mechanico, yeah. He had his back, and then he was kind of doing a little bit of ground and pound. And the ref instantly, no, not in the back of the head. I'm like, oh, here we go again. We're about to do this again. And then Brundage is going to quit. And then they're going to try to give him a DQ or no contest. But I'm like, why are they so fast in Brundage fights to call them the back shots? Because I've seen people elbow like the back of the head and they don't say anything.
I think it's just because it's so blatant. Like the way he tucks his head, he tucks way harder than anybody else ever has.
That's why I hate
it. It's obvious when he gets hit in the back of the head. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't really get away from it. And rules is rules. Like you're not allowed to elbow somebody in the back of the head. So like if you're like tucked down and like trying to do this thing and one of them glances off, it's like, well, but that's not really like he ain't moving. Like it's only the neck. If you punch him in the back of the head, that's your own fucking fault because you know better.
Right. KB, I don't think I did that. If I said back shots, pause. My bad. I'm pretty sure I didn't say back shots, but
wrong kind. Other kind of back shots. Oh man. All right. Everybody do me a favor, hit the like button, especially give Danny a follow for swooping in here and joining me to talk about these fights on short notice. Let's just talk about the main event briefly, man. You didn't get a chance to. I know I kind of broke this down just a little bit. I like Dricus. I like Dricus Du Plessis. I've always been team Dricus Du Plessis. He's one of the few people that I did circle correctly early in their UFC career. And because of that, I've just never got off the train. Like we just keep on rocking with Dricus. And I said, especially plus money. Everyone thought I was insane when I did Dricus versus Robert Whittaker. And I was like, no, like I know he's going to just absolutely smash him. And it wasn't even a question. You know, it was like what you're talking about with your read on Aaron Pico. I am waverable and unconfident when I can poke holes in my own argument. And then there's people I have blind, insane faith in. And that was one of those where I was just like, give me Dricus. He's going to destroy Robert Whittaker. There was no question in my soul. Same thing with the Sean Strickland rematch. Same thing with the Israel Adesanya fight. That it was like, I know what I'm getting into here. Now, I will say, I'm not blindly confident against Khamzat. It's more of the riding the plus money train. You know what I mean? Like there's no point in getting off this train. The champ at plus money, my guy at plus money, Dricus specifically at plus money. Like I just got to do it. You know what I mean? I just got to cover my eyes and hope he's the man I thought he is and hope that Khamzat's not the monster under the bed. If Khamzat does in fact get TJ Dillashaw cardio from being out there with that camp, we're all fucked. Like he's unstoppable if he gets enhanced cardio the way TJ Dillashaw had. So I am a little bit nervous about that, but I just got to go with the champ at plus money at this point, man. I really do.
Another thing too about Pico, he had I don't know if they were training, but I know he had a picture with Chimaev too. So it looked like they were training clothes wise, but hey.
He's just out there taking photos with everybody, man. Nursulton had a picture with him too.
He looks like me in PFL when I catch everybody. But a question for you, Clint. When's the last time a champion won at dog odds?
Ooh, you know what? See, this is the thing. Stats are not my thing. I mostly rely on Uncle Wheezy and Mr. Electrocute for those. So I actually don't know. Champions at plus money don't come around very often. Yeah. And that's kind of part of the problem, I think.
Yeah, so I know you like to say that a lot. For me, this is how I think the opposite. I'm like, man, the bookies are disrespecting the champion. That says a lot, man. To me, in my opinion, that's how I think. And I really can't remember. I don't know if people in the chat can look it up or if they remember the last person that was a champion that was underdog that won. I was with you, man. I was with you with DDP versus Whittaker. Strickland, I got a little gritty. I was a little torn, and I took DDP by decision versus Izzy. And I know you're in the opposite side on this, but me having a DDP ticket on that fight, I thought he looked horrible. I thought he was losing. I was looking at the live odds. Izzy was minus 800 at one point before he got finished, and it was crazy when I saw the scorecards. I'm like, wow, 2 judges have it. What was it? I think it was 3-1 or 2-2 for DDP. And then only one had the scorecard for Izzy, which I completely agree with. I forget what rounds it was, but I'm like, that's the one that I looked at. Having a DDP ticket, and I'm like, he looked bad in my opinion. He's just that type of fighter that's not gonna look, sexy or anything like that.
He looks that way in every fight, though.
Yeah, but this one,
you got to kind of make peace with it. Like, he's just gonna look real awkward.
Well, with the Whitaker, no, because Whitaker crumbles. Look at the Ritter fight, same thing. He crumbles in that style. With Izzy, it was different because Izzy is great at distance management. His striking is real crispy, bigger cage, so it looked worse. I was torn on this for a little bit, but with the odds and Chimaev, I can't bet against Chimaev. And I think it was Dirty Reg that said earlier, if I lose money against my boy DDP, which he made me money, and you beat Chimaev, congrats, bro. I'm gonna be happy for you. I'm a fan of both of these fighters. This fight is insane. I was really trying to go because I'm only like 4 hours, 4 hours around there. But there's a couple things I gotta take care of. But for me, I think because the over is 2.5. So I was looking at FanDuel.
I think that's sneaky, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Chimaev. Everybody thinks, it's gonna be Chimaev early or DDP late. I'm like, bro, they both DDP gets gas too, and he just pushes through. Like, it could get real sloppy and it could go over. I saw Chimaev, which is crazy. He's like minus 200 favorite. If you do the same game parlay, Chimaev money line and round 2 to start is plus 105. I like that. Everybody thinks it's just one round and that's it for Chimaev. If not, he's gonna lose. I disagree. Cause like the way I see this, like DDP. Remember, Chimaev's never been taken down. He's got 100% takedown defense. He's fought Usman. Like, it's wild to me. And you think DDP is going to take him down? I don't think so. I know a lot of people were saying that DDP is huge. Chimaev's is huge. And his striking is really crispy. His 1-2, nice jab. I think and I don't know if you noticed, the last couple of fights, Chimaev has been the worst one yet. Like, in the beginning, he was screaming, saying he was going to take over, the UFC, I'm going to be champ, all this stuff. He hasn't been doing that in the last couple of fights, and he's just been taking care of business. I'm not betting against that guy. I know it's DDP, and I get your logic. Okay, I've been riding with DDP the whole time. Why, jump off the train now? For me, I don't try not to think like that because every fight is different, and I just take it one at a time, you know what I mean? This one's really, really tough for DDP. If he wins, oh my god, dude, the scenes,
dude, GOAT status. Like, if
Chimaev,
he wins,
bro, you know the COVID days when Chimaev just came out of nowhere and he was just taking over the UFC. Like, this guy is legit, and I think he takes care of business. I'm actually, if I had to bet the over, I would bet the over. But I'm actually looking at that Chimaev money line round 2 to start at plus 105 or even money.
I don't mind that. And honestly, man, I kind of like the over 2.5 just by itself. I think plus money on the over 2.5, crazy as it sounds, because I don't think anybody's putting DDP away in round 1. Like, nobody, and I do think you're right that calm Chimaev, it seems like he's got a tendency to go a little deeper. The other thing, and again, this is not stat backed. This is Clint brain over here. But anytime these fighters get a step up in competition, like a legitimate step up, a big step up, it's not easy. You don't just run through everybody forever. The only guy to ever do that was McGregor when he took out Aldo with that first shot, in round 1. Nobody else does that shit. So even Khamzat, when he fought Gilbert Burns, he went to a decision. When he fought Usman, he went to a decision. It's getting tougher for him to just dice these guys early. I think at the highest level, overs make way more sense. And I think both guys are going to be scared to lose is the wrong way to put it, but you know what I mean? They're going to be more tactical.
Yeah.
They're not going to run face first into something crazy. So I think we could see a butt pucker over here and get a really competitive fight that goes a lot longer than people are expecting.
No, I agree. I won't be shocked if this goes the distance, bro. Like,
bro,
call me crazy.
Are we going to do the over ladder?
I'm not that type of better to do the ladders, but I might do the, like I said, round 2 to start and Chimaev money line and then sprinkle a little bit of this decision, bro. Like,
yeah,
call me crazy. I've had some crazy bets and everybody's like, well, you're nuts. I'm like, it hits.
I love it. I love it. Well, you and me are split on the side. I like DDP. He likes Khamzat. But we both think the over is probably the way to go. Don't forget, on your way out the door, guys, huge shout out to CloudBet for sponsoring the podcast. They are going to be our official lines and odds maker. Please make sure you're checking out CloudBet. Use promo code DieHard. Link in the description below. They legitimately are rolling out the red carpet for us, up to $2,500 in cashback bonuses and stuff like that when you sign up using that promo code. So please check them out. Danny, my man, coming in here Kevin Holland style on short notice, except you're coming out with the KO win and a $50K bonus instead of getting finished. Looking like a king over there, man. Thank you for joining me to talk about some of these fights, dude. If you've got stuff going on, tell the people where they can find you, tell them where they can support you, and give this man a follow.
Yes, sir, man. Always hit me up. It doesn't matter, send me a DM if you need somebody like replacement or anything like that. You call
I needed a replacement today. This was great,
yeah,
though.
That's true. Usually you call me in a perfect card because usually I take my time and I get like my bets are late, like Thursday, Fridays. But
yep,
I love these spots and I knew the line was gonna move, so I had to hop on it. Yeah, just follow me at Danny Bets with 2 Z's, IG and Twitter. I'm more active on Twitter though. For my boxing bets, I got my Patreon and the Discord. We always talk our boxing there. Our Pub Sports Radio, our boxing show on Tuesdays, 7:30 Eastern. We'll have it tomorrow because there's a fight. We skipped the last 2 weeks. The fights were, low level. So there's a fight this weekend coming up. We'll break it down tomorrow. Me and my boy Preston, 7:30 Eastern at Pub Sports Radio. And I want to give the chat a little story, bro, because I know a lot of people don't know. But I've been following Clint for years. Like, I'm talking about when he was originally, he opened up his new YouTube channel. I think it was literally COVID, 2020 or 2019. It's actually 2019. 2019 because before my child, yes. And I've been following him, being a supporter for years. And that whole year, man, I went through a lot, bro. I don't talk about it, but like when I had my son I had my son on New Year's Eve. He had to get a couple surgeries 3 months later. The whole thing, and he's fine now. He's 5 years old, being a head kid like that. But yeah, I've been following you forever, and a lot of people don't know that. That's why they wonder, like, why is he getting a rant? So I'm like, bro, I've been with Clint for a long time.
OG.
Yeah. So we've been chopping it up, always talking about fights and things like that, making TikToks back in the day. So yeah, if you're newer in the chat, that's why, man. So yeah, check me out, Danny Bets with 2 Z's, and hopefully. I love this card, by the way. I know a couple people are bashing it, but this paper for me is legit.
I love how bettable it is. It's going to be fun. It's got the top heavy style. So we got like really awesome fights at the end of it. And like, yeah, the roster's a little old on this one, but like notable names and frankly, good matchups. Should be some fun fights. I'm with you, man. I like this one, but yeah, man. Dude, just appreciate the hell out of you. You know what I mean? Like, I know we don't share enough camera time these days or anything like that, but you really have been with me like for freaking ever. So this was cool, man. Thank you very much for jumping on the show and talking fights with me. This was awesome.
No problem, bro. Anytime.
Hell yeah. That'll do it for tonight, you guys. You got a double dose. You got 2 guests for UFC 319. Doesn't get much better than that. Make sure you support my guy Danny here. Make sure you go check him out for his boxing bets and the usual rampage of shows that I've got coming to you throughout the week. So don't forget, we got the total takedown, the hot props, the undefeated post weigh-in show, and because it's pay-per-view week, we will be doing the Sharp Action Report. CloudBet, button in the link. Hit it. Let's freaking go. Let's roll, everybody.